Russian senator discovers millions of freaks in Russia. The police becomes army recruiters now. Kursk, when theft is honored by medals. Another arrest of Shoigu's deputy. Gazprom books show more red, very deep red. Childbirth catastrophe is secretly acknowledged by Russian government. Sometimes Russian senators become regular people. Not for long though. And the biggest news of the week is about Vladimir Putin and China. Who do you think speaks Chinese? Howdy, howdy, friends. My name is Konstantin. Welcome to Inside Russia, where usual Russia is explained by the unusual Russian. Welcome to Fridays. Today, and as usual, I give you crazy news updates straight out of the mad circus that Russia has become. First things first, though, there's no such absurdity that could not be realized in Russia these days. Please remember that. And the news, I call them crazy news from Russia. The news of Russia that matter and that you will not find in any mainstream media anywhere. And the past couple weeks have been so crazy. Matter and that you crazy that I um, even if someone wanted to make these news up, they couldn't because these news are beyond belief. These things are coming out of Russia, this information. Well, let's just get straight to the news. Let me start with Russian Parliament. I'll start with myself, actually. Actually, I have a confession to make. Oh, wow, it's difficult. Um, uh, Folks, I am not the person I'm trying to pretend. I'm not a good man. I'm a freak. That's confirmed. And it gets even worse. Not just me, we are the family of freaks. All of us. My wife Natasha, my children Sky, Jake, Oля, Dasha, and even 7-year-old Michael. We're all freaks. We did something I'm not very proud to talk about. Oh, it's hard. We are fans of Harry Potter, and we watched all Harry Potter movies, all of them. We watched them separately. I watched a few, Natasha, the kids, and then we watched them together. We watched Harry Potter movies as family. In front of all TV, like good big family. We even had a pizza delivery when we watched the movies. Oh boy, um, what kind of parent I am? Dasha is a huge fan of Harry Potter. She collects Harry Potter memorabilia. She has read all the books of Harry Potter in English. That's just how she learned English. And she even had a magic wand. And Michael, just look at this. Armed with his magic band and a book of spells, and he's ready. He's ready to go. He's charged. That better not mess with us. Oh boy, Michael, poor Michael. We dressed him up as Harry Potter on Halloween, and I think not once, but twice. And I hope I have not corrupted my kids irreversibly. We are family of freaks. Well, according to the Russian senator Vitaly Milonov, this guy right here, he just publicly stated that adults who are interested in Harry Potter universe are worse than quad robbers. They are freaks. and he advised them, all of them, to urgently seek professional psychological help. So the Senator Milonov insists that we are the family of freaks. The good senator must know what he's talking about. You know, after all, he had quite a few legislative initiatives, fantastic initiatives. For example, in 2012, Milonov opposed the teaching of Darwin's theory of evolution in Russian schools. He asserted the unproven nature of evolution. In 2012, Milonov demanded to close down MTV Music Channel. The reason? Well, MTV was immoral with low values, and Milonov personally didn't like MTV and he didn't watch it, so he demanded to close down the entire channel. In 2012, Milonov proposed to prosecute and jail American performer Madonna after she performed concert in St. Petersburg. Singing Madonna caused Milonov great dissatisfaction and distress. Milonov saw Madonna promoting homosexualism with her songs. Madonna? What? What? Bye bye, Miss American Pie. Drove Milonov to the levee, but the levee was dry. And him, good old Milonov, was drinking whiskey and rye, singing, "This will be the day that I die. This will be the day that I die." Yeah. Madonna wasn't jailed. She went on touring in other countries. But, no big deal. Right after Madonna, Lady Gaga came to St. Petersburg and she also performed and she also singing. Yeah, she sings. And Milonov was waiting. Lady Gaga also gave a concert in St. Petersburg, just like Madonna. Well, she said something on the concert, and let me quote Lady Gaga. To fight for, she called everyone in the concert to fight for equality and freedom, as well as respect any minorities and remain oneself regardless of one's sexual identity. That sounds pretty cool to me. Oh, that drove Milonov crazy. He filed an official report with the prosecutor general's office. He demanded to conduct an official investigation, and investigation was conducted. And Lady Gaga's words were found non-extremist, and there was no crime in her words. So, and she moved on to sing in other countries. And the good Senator Milonov got really mad, and he doubled down on his initiatives for the Russian people, poor Russian people. He's pretty famous. People still remember him. Let me let you know what he also did. He proposed, after Lady Gaga left, he proposed to create the Russian Vision Song Contest as a counterweight to the Eurovision Song Contest. According to the good Senator Milonov, the Eurovision represented a degradation that Russia didn't need, and would be new contest, Russia Vision, presented the future. In 2013, Milonov proposed to ban pop soda in Russia. Altogether, production and sales of pop soda. In 2013, Milonov proposed to assign a special status to the historical symbol of Russia, black, yellow, white tricolor, in order to clean it from extremist raid and filth. Not everyone wondered what he meant, and no one to this day knows what he really, meant by that. Delusional, anyone? In 2014, Milonov proposed St. Petersburg governor Georgy Poltavchenko to name one of the city's streets after first president of Chechen Republic, Ahmad Kadyrov. In 2015, Milonov proposed a bill prohibiting riding bicycles without driver's license. He proposed to oblige all bicycle riders to study and take exams to receive driver's licenses, even children. Without that, no bicycling. In 2015, again, Milonov proposed to ban walking the streets of St. Petersburg and in inappropriate clothing that did not comply with high ethical standards. And what were the ethical standards? They were to be designed by Milonov himself. Playing the Tsar, innocent, not a big deal, at least for in Russia. Among other Milonov's initiatives, they were to ban video filming on smartphones in the subways all over Russia, to significantly limit people's right to assembly, to ban one particular Apple's telephone model, 5S. He was saying that that could hurt the senators, could be harmful to them. And he decided to propose to ban printing documents on paper. Basically, he wanted to ban paper. One of the latest initiatives proposed was to Russian tourists vacate in Syria instead of Turkey. Well, a good one. Actually, you know what? I will take my family to go see a doctor. After this the good Senator Milonov is telling me and my family that we are freaks and we need to go to see a doctor. Yes, I will go to see a doctor. I will seek mental examination. I might do that, but only after a few things happen. After Russian senators, including Milonov, vote to stop the criminal war, after they are kicked out of the office, after all Russian troops are back where they belong in Russia, to Russia, after the senators and all the Russians repent, after the senators are investigated and prosecuted for what they've done to the country, to both countries, and only after Russia becomes free. But you know what? I will not go to psychologist. No, you know what? Instead, me and my family, instead we will celebrate. We all, as a family, will watch a Harry Potter movie again, a rerun, with a pizza delivery. Milonov, Leviosa. Leviosa out of here. Another news is about federal police officers helping Russian army. Well, that's quite something. The authorities of the Oryol province, and that's central Russia, will pay extra to police officers for assistance in attracting the population to participate in the special military operation. That's how they call the war in Ukraine. This is reported by the local news portal called newsoryol.ru. That news media has gotten hold of a copy of the governor's decree. I guess it's not made public, but they have the proof. According to the document, in case of the fact of signing a contract with the Ministry of Defense, a police officer who persuaded the signee will receive a bonus of 10,000 rubles, about $110. Not too shabby. The police officers will be awarded for recruiting from among Russian citizens as well as foreigners. Something is odd here. Putin keeps telling everyone that all army needs in personnel are fulfilled, and there's enough soldiers. And this bonuses to the police for persuading to sign military contracts, basically recruiting. You know what? Someone's liar. Someone's pants on fire. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Hey, I told you it's going to be very interesting and eventful 3 months in Russia. They're coming up. They have started. The next news takes us to Kursk. Now, I read this news and I started having second thoughts on some of my ideas and some of my, you know, thoughts. Again, something is odd here. The dots don't connect. I've been telling you that Kursk province is a disaster. There's a disaster happening. The Ukrainians have announced their own special military operation and rolled into Russia, just like that. And 1 month later, well, it's actually 5 weeks later, Ukraine is occupying a significant portion of the province, controlling around 1,000 square kilometers and close to 100 settlements. Quarter of million of regular Russian people have fled the war zone, and they left in a rush. They became homeless, basically. Tons of settlements destroyed. This war going on there, and it's a human tragedy. And I take it's a war zone now. Okay, that's what I've been telling you, but I might be wrong. Especially after watching this governor's medal award ceremony in Kursk, not too far from the war zone. It is official public news program on the federal TV channel. And check this out.
области заместитель министра обороны России Юнусбек Евкуров и врио-губернатор Алексей Смирнов вручили ведомственные награды, медали за укрепление боевого сотрудничества и вклад
This is a
в
ceremony.
укрепление
This is
обороны
the
России.
tops of tops.
Ведомственные награды.
Check this. This is the person of interest, right? Take a closer look. The fella awarding the medal is the Deputy Minister of Defense, Yunusbek Inkurov. So he was captured by Yevgeny Prigozhin in Rostov-on-Don, okay, and he was on TV. He was blackmailed, and now I guess he's back in business. He's awarding medals and all that. So, again, this guy in the red circle is the one to pay attention to. His name is Vladimir Lukin. He's the head of a private company called Kursk Region Development Corporation. He was awarded a medal. We don't know which one, but definitely his medal is being pinned. And this is the story behind the medal. In March 2023, the authorities of Kursk province awarded and signed 2 contracts with Kursk Region Development Corporation, where this guy works or affiliated that or he owns, we don't know. So 2 contracts for construction of various fortifications. The total value of the 2 contracts amounted to 3.2 billion rubles. That's roughly $35 million. The deadline for contracts completion for both of them was July 5th, 2023. And it makes sense. If you want to build something fast, you gotta pay premium. So I guess they paid premium. However, in December 6th of 2023, 6 months after the deadline was over, the arbitration court of Kursk province received a claim from Kursk province government from the capital construction department of the government for the amount of 2.1 billion rubles due to non-fulfillment of obligations by this company, Kursk Development Corporation, under province defense order. The witnesses state that the fortifications were not built. None. Zilch, resident of Suji, who left off, from city during, when the Ukrainian troops were moving in on August 6th, he told the story to a local newspaper that there were only a few anti-tank hedgehogs, but they were not defensive fortifications whatsoever. And there is also another evidence from other people, and they stayed the same. Nothing. Well, despite that, $35 million were spent with virtually nothing to show for them. The people responsible are awarded medals. A couple days ago, a big ceremony in Kursk, about 40 miles away from war happening. Now, what the hell? Awarded medals. Perhaps there's no war in Kursk. Perhaps it's just a special financial operation going on. Perhaps everything is going according to the plan. Perhaps all is dandy. It's just a 250,000 of instant refugees, homeless Russian people, do not fit into this equation. But who cares about regular Russian people in Putin's Russia? Postscriptum. $35 million has been probably stolen and divided between a few people, and it's a financial operation indeed. But I, as a Russian citizen, I have no problem with that. The stolen money, taxpayers' money, will end up in Dubai, Miami, London, New York, or Nice, and some crooked Russian officials will be, living happily ever after with their families there. And that is so much better than to use that money to its direct purpose, to build military fortifications or produce missiles, tanks, weapons, ammo to kill Ukrainians. Hey, take that money to Miami, to Dubai, whatever, buy boats, luxury condos. Hey, knock yourself out. That is fine with me. The next news is right from the oven. Very fresh and hot, hot, hot. I still can smell it. Another member of former Ministry of Defense, Sergei Shoigu's team has been arrested. On the 10th, a couple days ago, Vyacheslav Filipov, this guy right here, the head of the Federal War Memorial Pantheon of Defenders of the Motherland installation that belongs to the Ministry of Defense of Russian Federation, was arrested in Moscow and charged with crime, corruption, and bribing of large scale. The information on his arrest is very scarce, is close to none. But that's all we need to know now. That another member of Shoigu's team has been arrested. Another Shoigu's guy is locked up, and it looks like Shoigu is the only one left, waiting with the popcorn. Now, lately, we have all been hearing about Ministry of Defense arrests. Arrests, generals charged corruption, bribes, what a bunch of criminals and scumbags they are, those generals. But let's rewind 6 months ago to 6 months ago, all these arrested generals, arrested now, the dirty dozen, they were still heroes, respected, honorable men just back in March. in charge of the armed forces, invincible, all powerful, idealistic, the guys to look up to. And it turns out they were scumbags. We just didn't know it back then. Now, let's fast forward to 6 months from now into the future. Let's guess how many more officials will be arrested. Oh, imagination is running wild. Them spiders in the jar. And the next news is from Shoigu himself. He actually spoke for some reason. I thought that when they fired him as the Minister of Defense, they actually cut out his tongue, but no, he still has a tongue, and he still speaks. A very interesting Freudian slip of the tongue from Shoigu last week. I quote, "There's a very, very significant point. It is Kursk. Kursk. And as long as we do not throw the Ukrainians out of our territory, we, of course, will not conduct any negotiations with them." Now, have you noticed anything interesting? I have. Kursk is our territory. Officially, Russia considers Donetsk, Zaporizhia, Kherson, and Luhansk provinces of Ukraine as its own territories. And there are Ukrainian armed forces, there on their land that Russia considers its land. But for Shoigu, there's a difference between those territories and Kursk province. Because even the top leaders of Russia actually understand that the occupied territories of Ukraine are not Russia at all. It is Ukraine, and they gotta go. Those lands are gotta go. They gotta be returned. And this is food for thought. Thank you, Sergei Shoigu, for giving me a sneak preview, for opening my eyes a little bit. Let's move to another news, and it's absolutely, I was gonna say marvelous, but I don't know, it's kind of out there, crazy. Marvelously crazy. The Minister of Health of Primorsky Territory, that's Russia's easternmost province, said that it is possible to create offsprings during breaks at work because life flies too fast. Lunch breaks, yeah, that's what people need to create offsprings. I'm not joking, friends. That's what he said. I well, now who is the guy? He's a medical doctor in the past, and now he's a government official. He's in charge of province's Ministry of Health. I take it he has extensive experience of, being a doctor. Um, the Minister of Health of the Primorsky Territory, Yevgeny Shestopalov, during an interview to a local media called the Federal Press, said that, now listen to this carefully, a busy job is just an excuse for those who do not want to have children. Children can be conceived during lunch breaks. He believes that if people do not have the opportunity to take care of children because of their busy work schedule and load, then, I quote the good minister, at the end, children can always be taken to workplace and stay with parents there. Who will forbid if my child wants to sit in my office and draw? Said the minister. He added that he himself took his child with him to work when he worked as a doctor. His child sat in a hospital ward while the father was working and no one was against it. This is not a joke, okay? I triple checked that. That he did say that. It reminds me of Mad Circus with a bunch of crazy people running around and laughing crazily and doing crazy things that cannot be explained. I can't imagine anything like that happening in other countries. In Russia in the past, it was also not happening. It didn't happen in my Russia, you know. So I call it the Mad Circus. Um, I don't know. How would you call it? Let me know down below in the comments, and I'd really appreciate to know your opinion. It's really a mystery. How would you call that? The crazy circus. This is my this this is the closest what comes to mind. Now, before I wrap it up with this news, there's a very deep meaning actually underneath this crazy surface. This is not the first time I'm hearing about have more children, have more babies, you know, conceive more and things like that. And in this live stream, in this news report, I will give you quite a few more news about demographic situation in Russia. It's just all. It seems like all Russian officials are given orders to promote childbirth. Russian state needs more pregnant women, needs more boys who will grow and turn into soldiers. And this is real message that gets out there, and some people make it like crazy circus type of news. Let me take a sip of this wonderful English tea. Um, English breakfast, loving it. Now, another crazy news. Straight out of Met Circus, another one. I'm telling you. Now, I want to ask you a question. How difficult do you think it is to earn money in Putin's Russia? Easy. Easy peasy. One of the hardcore Russian propaganda medias called Tsargrad has just introduced a paid subscription for watching pirated movies on its website. Western movies, American movies. A subscription is worth 99 rubles, roughly $1. Okay, and this is how it looks like. This is a screenshot of the website. And to watch this movie about the Jack Sparrow, you just have to pay some guys behind this media, Russians. You pay them in Russian rubles, and they show you this American movie that is copyrighted. So, this new system of theirs is called TV channel is called the trophy films, where foreign films are illegally uploaded, obviously, basically pirated movies. Only in Russia they aren't called pirated. They are called the trophy films. You know, the trophies from the enemies that Russians conquered and brought back home. What do you think? Well, in some countries, in most countries, it's called stealing. But in Putin's Russia, it's called making easy money, earned with help of the enemies. Buy the trophies. I don't know how it looks like to you. To me, it's called degradation. My country is going through degradation. Before moving to the next news, I want to take a sip of this tea again. And thank you. Thank you, those of you who are helping inside Russia. Um, not just for buying me coffees at Buy Me Coffee, not just becoming Patreons, not just sending money through PayPal. That helps a lot, but I would like to thank you also, those of you who watch my channel, who like the videos and live streams, who participate in live stream chats, and who comment. YouTube has started demoting me inside Russia. Um, I don't even want to think of the reasons. So I'm asking you to please help. Like my videos, watch them, share my videos anywhere you can in the social media, and comment. You know, let me know in the comments what you think. And if you have nothing to say, just drop a few nice lines. Words of encouragement would be very nice. So thank you so very much. The next news comes from St. Petersburg, from the HQ of a company called Gazprom, Russia's largest company, the state owned natural gas monopoly. Gazprom, which unofficially calls itself Russia's national treasure, released its financial data in the first half of 2024. You know, everyone's releasing it, and Gazprom did also. And the results are pretty expected. They're not very good. They're not good at all. The company showed a loss of 488 billion rubles. This loss is 88% more this year than in the first half of last year, 2023, if we compare first halves. 88% more. That's a shame because Gazprom was the national treasure of Russia in the past. Even in the most difficult years, worst years economically, in the early 90s, Gazprom was exporting lots of natural gas and generated huge profits and was the largest taxpayer in the country. Putin and his team moved in and they destroyed everything. I want you to take a look at how Gazprom's HQ in St. Petersburg looks like now, at the expense of Russian taxpayers. Now, check it out. A brand new skyscraper right in St. Petersburg, not too far from the center. The tallest building in Europe. And these are the interior, pictures of the interior. And this is a planetarium. This is the only company I've seen in my life and I've heard that has a planetarium, full scale planetarium inside its office. And this is a movie theater. I wonder why didn't they just get an IMAX? I like this place. It looks very rich. Again, paid by the Russian taxpayers. The next news comes from Perm province of Russia. This is actually there are good news and bad news there for Russian people, and let me know what you think. And it's about demography again. It's about childbirth rate, childbirth initiatives. The topic is becoming hot, hot, hot in Russia. So, 128,000 rubles, an equivalent of $1,400, will be paid to those new mothers who will get pregnant from the participants of the war in Ukraine. This motivational bonus will be paid by the provincial government. The military families who have children born between January 1st and December 31st, 2024, will receive the money. There's a catch. Their marriages must be officially registered. But if mothers get pregnant not from the participants of the war in Ukraine, but let's say from regular Russian men, non military, they will be not given the motivational bonus. I've been trying to discover logic behind that decision, and I've thought of it for quite some time. I can't find it. There's no logic. Just a random decision from crazy people. Please let me know down in the comments what you think. Do you see any logic? Please let me know down there. But in the mad circus, having no logic is actually normal. I think all is going according to the plan, and I start believing it. It's just kind of rotten plan. By the way, there will be many more news like this coming out every day, and if you want to keep up with other breaking news from Russia, become patron of Inside Russia, because every single day I carefully select 9 news that I find important and post them with my commentaries and analysis, make available for patrons on Patreon. It'll keep you informed of everything you wanted to know about Russia, but never dared to ask. So I'm gonna put links down below in the description, in the pinned comments after the stream is over. So the next news is amusing. Remember this guy, the mighty powerful General Apti Aladinov. You know, this guy. Oops. That's this.
Успокаиваемся, берем попкорн и спокойно наблюдаем за тем, как наши уничтожают.
Uh, it's brilliant. I followed that advice so many times. I literally have my virtual popcorn here right next to me at any time, all the time. So thank you, Mr. Aptiladinov. Well, he surprised me again. On the 5th of September, Mr. Aladinov made a sensational statement. Sensational. He said that Russia has already won the war. That's it. Russia has already won on its own. The war is won. Whew, I thought it's over. Finally, peace. Russian troops withdrawing, the Ukrainians withdrawing from Kursk. There's no need for the war anymore. Aladinov was a serious guy. The man of his word, he wouldn't lie for sure. Well, the following day, September 6th, 24 hours after, he made a different statement. A completely opposite statement that he made 24 hours earlier. Aladinov announced the transfer of Russian armed forces units to Kursk region, and he announced that such transfers happened daily. From Russia has won the war one day to more troops arrive every day, another day. Where is the victory? What the hell is going on? The next news comes from Russia's best economics university called the Higher School of Economics, located in Moscow. I won't beat around the bush. I'll give you the news as it is. Almost a third of Russians refuse to have children because of the war, poverty, and political situation in the country. This is evidenced by the result of a study, very serious study, by the Higher School of Economics, published in the scientific journal The Issues of Economics. About a third of Russians, 30.6%, decided to postpone the planned birth of a child or abandon it altogether for good due to the war in Ukraine, dissatisfaction with the political course of the Russian government, and the financial problems, and of course, emotional distress. I don't really have any comments except for this is a perfect example of cause and effect law. And I think you know what I mean. The next news is again about the demographic catastrophe happening in Russia. This time, Russian senator voicing concerns. The senator Irina Filatova, and she's right here, She believes that the ideas of childlessness, non traditional relationships, and the replacement of traditional family values with consumerism and self development should disappear from the Russian informational space at all levels. In her opinion, the allocation of money to support fertility will not bring results because, I quote, money is not the key to population reproduction, but education, morals, ethics, religious framework, the perception of children by society as an integral part of the normality of human life is the key. I unquote. Also, Filatova at the same time noted that improving living standards, granting access to education and medicine, as well as having career opportunities, contribute to the fact that the families no longer want to have many children or even any children at all. I quote the senator again. In developed countries, a comfortable lifestyle does not affect the desire to have children. I unquote. Again, it's one of those things that took me quite a few times to read to understand. What? So, making lives more comfortable, granting access to education and medicine, having career opportunities actually discourages families to have children? Um, Folks, this is gold, anti-gold, I guess. I've seen many shocking things in the last 2.5 years, but this statement really shocked me. At first, she says that the ideas of childlessness, non traditional relationships, and the replacement of traditional family values with consumerism and self development should disappear from the informational field in Russia at all levels. In good old Soviet tradition, she decides for us what information Russians must have access to and what information they must not have access to. That is pure communism. The USSR, oh, big back with a bang. I've been there before, I've seen it, it was not pretty, and they are already there. If Russian senator dares to say that publicly into the faces of Russian people, they're there, they're back into the USSR, at least in this situation, in this area of life. And then she suggests that increasing living standard is actually bad. No need to motivate people financially to have children, to make their lives richer, easier, more fulfilled. No education, healthcare, jobs needed. Irina Filatova is a smart woman. I did a little bit of research. She's 46, an attorney, and a mother of 2 children. She's been in the Russian politics for almost 20 years. I take it she doesn't know anything else. How can she say things that she just said? I have two theories. First, she could be very angry with Russian people, with the whole nation. And then she acts accordingly. I think you know what I mean. And the second theory, but what if she really believes in what she says? And that is scary. And the next news is pure, liquid, transparent truth. Well, not. A research was done. I love researches. Okay, Russia is just a big place where so many things happen at once, and in many cases, they many things contradict each other. Research. Let's take a look at that. The research was done by an agency called Web Bankir and reported by Russian government information agency called TASS. You all heard of TASS, so it is legit and it is official, coined by TASS. Well, check this out. According to this research, 21.9 of Russian people, Russians, 21.9% of Russian people consider that salary of 100,000 rubles, and that's equivalent of $1,100, could make them completely independent of debt and loans. $1,100, 100,000 rubles every month. That's all we need to be completely independent financially and happy. A couple of months ago, Vladimir Putin officially said, publicly stated that most Russians earn 200,000 rubles a month, double from what we see in that research. But here in this research, it turns out that just 100,000 for a lot of people is enough to live without debts. And they're all dreaming of earning $100,000 per month. So these two statements contradict one another. Oh, I love it, Something is very wrong. It's just very simple. One of the statements is a lie. So who is lying here? Web Bankir and TASS or Vladimir Putin? Liar, liar, pants on fire. The next news is a road trip. Remember this guy? Russian Senator Gurulev. He is a frequent guest of my reports every Friday. The newsmaker, a powerful Russian senator, he's actually on the Committee of Defense, is a former general, is, powerful guy. Well, he made this news this time as well. Check this out. This is his car, and obviously there's something very wrong with it. And he's very sad, and he's complaining, whining how terrible the road is. And he was driving on the road, and this has happened. And he's saying, I can't believe how bad these roads are. Look at these holes. Look at that car coming up. How it jumps up and down. Oh, poor
Проехать даже на многих этих препятствиях знаки-то не стоят. Вот он
because
я,
there are
помоги, он
not
выбрал
even road
подвеску.
signs on this road.
Наша региональная дорога.
It's a regular, provincial road in Russia. I gotta tell you, this is not an exception. This happens pretty much everywhere, all over Russia.
Я не знаю, кому еще говорить, наверное. Когда Министерство строительства этим
He says he doesn't know who to complain, when they're gonna fix it, and he's very upset. Good Senator Gurulev is tasting the medicine that millions, hundreds of millions of Russian people taste every single day. And he doesn't like that medicine. Now, I'm not gonna go on and on about Russian roads. I'm just gonna give you a little comparison. I'm a fan of ancient Rome history. I like reading everything about ancient Rome, and I know quite a few things about it. Have you heard of Via Appia? The Rome was famous for building infrastructure, aqueducts, running toilets with running water, and marvelous roads. So it was real marvel of the world 2,000 years ago. So Via Appia is one of the roads, major highways built by ancient Romans, and obviously it originated in Rome. All roads led to Rome. They all started from Rome. And Via Appia is probably the most famous road. And it still exists. In some parts of Italy, you still can see Via Appia. You can touch it, you probably can even drive on it. And it's in perfect condition or very good condition 2 years after it was built. Now, how was it possible for the ancient Romans to build roads like Via Appia and for Russians to have roads like this? Yeah. Is this what the human civilization has come to? Has it actually degraded from Via Appia to this? I don't think so. It's just in Rome, the roads were constructed according to manuals, plans, and instructions. And if someone tried to steal bricks, sand, materials, that someone was caught and hanged right away. In Russia, I guess no one is hanged. And Russia doesn't have Via Appias 2,000 years after Via Appia was constructed. Welcome to Putin's Russia. Okay, before we move to the last news, and that is going to be a shocker, I would like to ask you a favor again. Please, let me know which news you like the most. Pick 3 news that caught your interest the best, and let me know down below in the comments what they are. I would love to hear your feedback. I need the feedback to understand where I am right on the news and where sometimes I pick perhaps boring news. So let me know down below in the comments. Thank you so much. The last news, and this is the most important, the most how do I say that? The most significant, the most profound. Oh boy, this news is incredible. You know, I start seeing the big picture. I always ask myself, I keep on asking myself, what's going on in Russia? Where did Russia take a wrong turn? It's definitely on the wrong path right now, but there had to be a moment in the future where it took the wrong turn. Perhaps 400 years ago, perhaps 25 years ago. I keep on thinking about it, analyzing, trying to come up with answers. So, too many things still don't make any sense. Well, didn't make any sense. The leadership makes the decisions now in Russia that hurt both leadership and the country. And they hurt big time. Why? Why they keep on making these mistakes? They could take a different path. That would be good for both them personally and Russia as a country. But no, they keep shooting themselves in their feet, and especially the Tsar himself. I don't understand why he keeps on doing it. He has actually, this is what I think. He has committed suicide for both himself and the country. He has taken the country along with them. It's just the suicide is delayed in time. After watching this video, I understand things a little better. I want you to watch it too.
Возникает потребность изучения языка друг друга. И в Китае, кстати говоря, тоже растет интерес к русскому языку.
Says there's an increasing demand for Russian language. And also in China, there's also increasing demand for Russian language.
С китайского. Члены моей семьи говорят уже маленькие.
The members of my family also speak Chinese, the little ones.
В китайском языке.
They speak the Chinese.
Свободно.
They speak fluently.
Вот.
Again, I want you to watch it again.
Значит, возникает потребность изучения языка друг друга. И в Китае, кстати говоря, тоже растет интерес к русскому языку. А у нас
Please take a notice. This is official. This is not a fake or anything like that. It's TASS. Vladimir Putin, that's him. And again, he speaks about his little ones are speaking Chinese fluently.
Члены моей семьи говорят тоже маленькие.
The members of my family, the little ones, speak Chinese fluently.
Говорят свободно.
Nice. Russian President Vladimir Putin said that the little members of his family speak Chinese fluently. This doesn't, again, this was official. This was televised. This happened when Vladimir Putin was visiting a school at Kizil a few days ago. If his little ones, and he didn't specify who the little ones were, if they speak Chinese freely and fluently, does it mean that he is also learning Chinese too? Why his little ones speak Chinese fluently? Which country do they live in? That's the president of Russia, and his family is hugely important. It's his family we're talking about. That's Russian people, the voters, they have a right to know. Tell us more. Why? Where do they live? Who they are? Are they your grandchildren? Or perhaps not. But there's no information, none whatsoever. We can only assume, and that creates many rumors. But I think I understand things better now. And of course, it is my personal opinion, and I could be wrong, okay, but I think I start feeling the direction of the wind now. When the wind blows to. Another small piece of this puzzle that perfectly fits and starts showing the big picture more clearly. Putin declared successful relations with China. Now, what? A couple days ago, it was televised again. Russian President Vladimir Putin has decided to publicly ignore the growing problems with bank payments between Russia and China. A meeting with the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi, he declared successful cooperation between the two countries in directions including the economic one. I quote, as for bilateral relations, they are developing very successfully in all directions. This concerns the coordination of our work in the field of international arena. It concerns issues related to economic cooperation, cultural and humanitarian track. I quote Putin. According to Vladimir Putin, he intends to discuss successes in cooperation with China with the Chinese president Xi Jinping during a bilateral meeting at the BRICS summit in Kazan. That is coming up in October 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Prior to that, Putin personally asked Xi Jinping's deputy, Han Zhen, to organize this meeting, meaning Xi Jinping's not too eager to meet him. It is a very strange success. Vladimir Putin says, we are having great success with China. China is killing Russia's economically and fast. It is the worst relations in the recent history between the two countries. The biggest problem, the Chinese have been banning Russian banks. Russian payments are not accepted in China any longer, and therefore the Chinese companies cannot send any products to Russia because they they need money first. Um, China, I used to say that China, backstabbed Russia again, once more. China is not backstabbing Russia anymore. China is standing in front of Russia and dealing a punch after punch after punch, causing a blow after blow, openly laughing and humiliating Russia in front of the entire world. It's not backstabbing, it's humiliation, and it's just beating, brutal beating. And Putin calls this successes in cooperation? And Russian president talks to the Chinese president's deputy, begging for a meeting? In diplomatic language, it is. In reality, folks, this is not good. This is not good for him, and it's not good for Russia. It's humiliation of the president in the country. But now, let's start putting dots together. If we consider the circumstances, the little ones speak Chinese fluently. We could see the situation under a different angle, in different color. Again, I start feeling that wind is blowing into a direction of China. Before, it was just my forecasts, analysis, thoughts, you know, um, guesses. But now we start seeing, or rather feeling, hearing something tangible. We start hearing the little ones speaking fluent Chinese. I'm not the one who said it, he admitted himself. The big red dragon is slowly emerging as Russia's future. And it's becoming more and more obvious now. And now I want you to see what I think of regular Russian people taking responsibility for the war in Ukraine. I made a video about it, and the link is right over here.